Many people and organizations have stood up severally against rape and sexual assault, but this is something that has refused to go. I mean, people, regardless of their gender, still fall victims every day. So today on the show, we'll talk about the roles that men have to play in ending rape and sexual assault in our society. My name is Rachel Isaac, and you're welcome to the show where we bring you nothing but good vibes. And as you guys know, I am never here alone. I have my co-host
Eric one. So on this topic today, we'll be talking to a few people about what they think and what they know about this particular topic. And we'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
It all starts with parents teaching their children. What do you want to enjoy in raping? If you rape any girl, it will cause you, it will cause a stigma. You even know what will happen, the consequence of what will happen in future. If all these things are planted, none of them will like to go into all those things. But it's because the absence of this moral education. They think it's a free world and they can do what I like. Then when you do what I like, none of them knew that there will be a consequence of what they are doing. If you know the meaning, the repercussion of what you are doing, you will not dive into it. But because of the absence of the parents, in teaching them some of those things, they have no option.
As men, if you want to play a lead role to actually curb this menace of rape, it's assumed that probably, okay, maybe for example, if you have a daughter, you start loading, you start plugging it into her ears that these are the kind of things you need to do. Okay, this is the way you try to dress. Yeah, this is the way you try to dress, and one cannot, you cannot now, because some people try to capitalize on the way ladies dress, and they say guys exploit and all that. That's kind of erroneous. It's not proper. They should be allowed to dress the way they want to. Perhaps dress. Don't know. You as a man, you as a man, you know how to deal with yourself.
We need to first start from the childhood and the way we train our children. One, the ladies, we need to come closer to them. Try to give them at least educate them of what they can do and what they should not do.
As a father, my own role is to ensure that my child that went to school as a female girl will be monitored. The time she left home, the time they close, and the time she comes back home is very, very important. And also, as a father, we will all put hand on deck to see that these young boys of these days are being, handled carefully and being taught by their parents. Their parents are teaching them how to live in a society like this, and also to the female children also are to be taught on how to live a life that is so decent that you don't attract men for rape.
Welcome back. It's still the Vibe Cafe show, the show where we give you nothing but good vibes. We've listened to a lot of people, talk about this particular topic. Insightful, enlightening, and informative about this topic. But to continue this conversation, we have an in-house guest. He's become a regular on this show. Kingsley Obum Egbelum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Kingsley. Okay, so before we came on, we were talking here just amongst us, and you were telling us the difference between rape and sexual assault. So would you want to shed more light so people at home or people watching us right now would know what
should I take more time?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So what do you want, Richard?
What do you?
Yeah, rape is actually not just another English word.
Okay.
Rape is a legal word.
Okay.
And what it means is that for you to say someone has been raped, the court will have to decide that. Yeah. So before you come to the court, you will have to be charged with sexual assault. And when you're guilty, it is rape.
Okay.
That is why it is always difficult to say for so many people to have been convicted of rape. Rape is a crime that is so difficult to have someone convicted of it. And that's because of the enormity of evidence that you need to provide. Because you see, for the judge to convict a perpetrator, you need evidence.
Okay.
You need witnesses.
Okay.
And the first thing that is destroyed when rape or when sexual assault happens is evidence.
Okay.
If it's a woman, she cleans up and she doesn't go to court. She doesn't go to the police. evidence is lost.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is that even if the woman has evidence and she has proof, if no, not a lawyer now, if the judge does not identify it as
If the-
rape or does not call it rape, then it is not rape.
Now, if the evidence is not beyond reasonable,
Reasonable
doubt,
doubt.
yes.
So what if, and this must be approved by the judge?
No. In the case of rape, you need what they call forensic evidence.
Okay.
And for forensic evidence to happen, you need to provide one, human elements. When I say human element, I'm using, a coded term. For the forensic specialist to examine and
DNA
say,
and all.
that's it. To say, based on the forensic examination of these exhibits or evidence, we can rightly say that this semen belongs to Mr. A.S.Y.Z., the accused.
Okay.
Therefore, he's guilty.
I know I watched an American TV show where I think in America there's now test rape kits where they test people, that have gone through that experience just to keep it and preserve it for whenever you're ready to do this. Why do you think it's taking so long to get here? Because also sexual assault has become very rampant in this part of the world. How do we
Now, let me
prove it?
digress a little bit before I answer that. You see, even if the DNA matches that of the accused, the guy could tell you it was consensual sex, which was rough.
How do you define consent? Because a lot of times it's always like somebody says, I say my body said no, but I said no person. How do you define
Consent shouldn't be vague. A woman can be laughing with you, smiling with you, playing with you, and you decide to have sex with her. If she didn't say let's have sex, that is rape. Technically.
Okay, so
Consent is, I am in the mood for this and I want the act. You know what I mean? So consent is when the person you're having intercourse with or you intend to have sexual intercourse with allows you and agrees to it. Anything other than that. Some people have even taken it to the point where even when sex is happening and the woman says, I am no longer interested, anything beyond that point is rape.
okay, so this last part that you mentioned now just reminded me of a time where there was this argument on social media as to a woman came out to say that her husband raped her. And then people were like, how can your husband rape you?
Yeah.
But the lady said that at that point, she
was-
did not want it.
Yes.
But then people were saying because there's a law binding that she's your wife or is your
No,
husband, it
no,
should happen. So
no,
is it
the law-
possible for a man to rape his wife?
It is possible.
Okay.
Rape is any act, either by penetration or otherwise, that is against the wish of the partner. It is also any sexual act that involves a minor. So if you have sex with a 17-year-old, even if she seduced you, it is rape. within our
Okay,
laws.
there's also that part. Okay, now,
Yes.
so what role do men play in ending? Sure, I do not like to say ending.
Yes.
I like to say reducing
Using,
because I
yeah.
don't think it
But
can
but
end.
ending
Reducing rape
is
and
ending
sexual
is
assault.
present continuous tense. Tense rather. So it's possible to end rape. If you ask any man whose daughter has been raped, it's not being.
It's not being so
Good.
at all.
So why can't we own that pain? Why can't we share that pain? And in owning and sharing that pain, we take responsibility for instigating the conversations that will, all men love their daughters, or rather, most men love their daughters. Some men will tell you, if you touch my daughter, I kill you.
Why are we talking only daughters?
Yeah,
Boys
even
too are
guys-
raped.
guys are
Yes,
raped.
Yeah,
boys
no,
are
we're
raped
coming
too.
to that now.
Okay.
Boys
so say
are
children.
raped.
Let's say children.
Yeah, boys are raped, no doubt. But rape is a man's problem.
Okay.
Number one, you just said it. Men are also raped as boys.
Even as men, by
Even
women.
as men,
Good.
by women, yes.
But it is like a drop in an ocean. The magnitude, the volume of the problem of sexual assault is men on women.
Okay.
So that is why I always say the problem of rape is a men's problem.
Okay.
We cause the problem, we're causing the problem, and we should be in the vanguard of those ending the problem.
I've seen a number of cases where kids are raped by their caregivers, by their family members, and it also gets to it always ends at the point where the kids don't even know that it is rape, so they continue to enjoy it until when they come of age, and then they see nothing wrong with it. So now, how do we encourage parents to educate their children? At what point should you introduce your daughter or your child, your very little daughter or son, to sex education?
Fantastic. That is even a solution
to the problem
of rape, because but what we call sex education is actually not what it should be. It is called sexuality education. There's the role of the bystander. You have boys whose friends have raped girls, and they know.
And they've done nothing about
And they done nothing about it. So we need to also encourage our boys. If you have friends who are messing around with girls or trying to mess around with girls, let them know that you will blow the whistle on them.
Okay.
So that way we're also contributing. Then taking it further, if you are in an office as a male where you have colleagues who have the habit of messing around too, you need to let them know where you stand so that if they come close, you're going to expose them. So part of the role of men in preventing rape is also taking a stand against habits, against attitude, against norms that demeans women. So you are a man and your fellow friend or fellow man is talking derogatorily about women. You need to call that guy to order and say, guy, this is not how a decent man should behave. And so if we keep telling ourselves all of that, the rape culture would in just a matter of time.
What do you think about men who say, oh, it's the victim's fault if she hadn't worn that dress, or if she hadn't did this, if she hadn't
That's what they call victim blaming and victim shaming. Obviously, it's coming from a sick mind, I'm sorry to say.
True.
Because a baby who was raped, did she dress seductively? An old woman, 72-year-old woman who was raped, was she seductive? People who cover themselves up, who are in powder in the north, there's a lot of rape going on in the north, and most women in the north, you dare not expose yourself on the streets in the north. Yet, in Kanu, for instance, 2 years ago, they recorded over 1,000 cases of rape in 6 months.
Wow.
Girls don't dress seductively in the north. I hope you know that.
Yes.
Yeah. So where is that coming from? So it's not about it flows from a culture of a male culture where a woman is a thing.
Objectified.
That is it. Women are objectified. And because she's an object, I need to have her. And if she says no, I'll force my way. That's it. So it's not about dressing. It's not about how you look. It's about a mentality, a culture that is driven by patriarchy.
Okay, so I'm very concerned about children now because the majority of the stories that we read and we hear about on social media is always about 3-year-old girl raped by a 60-year-old man, 50-year-old man rapes a 32-year-old. So I want you to, and it is also about parents who are not paying attention to their kids, parents who don't have time and all. So and kids who don't also know that, because they don't know that this is rape, they cannot exactly report to their parents. So I want you to help parents out there to tell how or when their kids are in trouble or in danger or are being sexually assaulted by men.
Or women.
Or women, yes, as the case may be. So how can you help a parent know that my child is being sexually assaulted by someone, but they don't know how to pass the message across to me?
It's a proactive measure. You before the rapist shows up, before the predator comes, you need to have taught your child one or two things.
Okay.
Which is what we're just talking about.
In a case where they've not taught their children, and this is already happening, and what are the signs and symptoms that these parents would see to know that, oh, my child is going through a lot or is in danger? How do I know as a parent?
Signs of sexual abuse.
Yes, signs of sexual abuse.
Well, when a child who is a bubbly child, happy-go, suddenly becomes reclusive, there's a problem. When a child who loves to eat chocolates and all of that, have food, starts hating food. When a child when a child starts to bedwet, and there's no history that this child has been bedwetting, there's a problem. When the child starts to drop in grades, she loves music, the things she loves or he loves, he doesn't find them interesting anymore. The child begins to, have cases of flashes. The child is watching movie, and all of a sudden the child jerks, and you know that there's a problem. The child sees an adult and runs away. It happens once, it happens twice. You need to ask questions. When you're batting the child, and you try to wash the child down below, and there's a problem. The child screams, the child yells. These are signs that somebody must have
Something is
tampered
wrong
with that
somewhere.
child.
So I heard something about a rape victim saying that no matter how much justice they get from the legal system, there isn't closure.
True.
What do you think, and especially in this part of the world where we don't see psychologists, it's a taboo, how do you think someone can get over that trauma? Because a lot of people carry that trauma into their marriages and into their, how do they get through that trauma? What do they do? Not going to church.
I'm praying.
That is where therapy comes in. Like you said, there must be closure, but it takes time. Because I always say that the way you feel when you were robbed by a robber is even 10 times the way someone feels when raped. Something is taken away. And while you can replace a stolen vehicle, you can't replace that dignity that is taken away when someone is raped, whether male or female. So you need to take time for healing to take place. So the survivor has to go through sex recovery therapy, has to go through trauma therapy, then has to go through even self-identity therapy. That's where the role of the therapist comes in. You need to, first of all, let the person know that taking revenge against the rapist means healing yourself. So the best revenge you can take against rape is to ensure that your dreams don't die. Is to ensure that you don't go down because because rapists are actually low life people. And so as the survivor, if you go low with the rapist, then the rapist has won. So you need to take your dreams. You need to dream again. You need to aspire. You need to be ambitious. You need to run and ensure that you attain whatever you set for yourself even before the incident. That is the only way, or one of the ways, that you can, the person can fight back. Then you also have the role of family members. Family members have a lot of role to play. So if you're married, if it's a lady, that is when the husband needs to be there for her.
Yes.
You have sons, you have siblings. That is the role. That is where they need to show that they really, really love this person. That is not the time to stay away and further stigmatize
Them.
Yeah.
From a male perspective, man to man, and a lot of times in this part of the world, we don't like to talk about, we don't like to be vulnerable, we don't like to have this conversation. What can we do as men to stop it, to support people who have been raped, just to stand by them and help them feel like they are not alone? How do we help?
Fantastic. You've given me two of the points. We need to, if you have a friend who has been raped, you believe her and make her feel wanted and not take advantage of her, because she's been raped, she's vulnerable already. So you have to become a pillar of support for that person. You don't stigmatize the person. Then other help that can come, as a male, you can help her access treatment, whether psychotherapy or medical. That's also possible. Then if you have a relationship with her, that is not the time to dump and run away. That is the time to prove that indeed you are the right person. You need to rise up. It takes a lot of strength at that time for you to say, I still want to go ahead with this relationship. So you need to go ahead with that. In fact, that's the biggest thing the man can do, to recommit to the relationship, that rape or no rape, I'm with you all the way. You got a point. Then, like we always say, prevention is even better. Talk to your other male about rape. Let's make rape a casual conversation. Yes. The way we talk about Arsenal,
football and all of that. Yes,
let's discuss that. Guy, what do you think about this thing happening to women? Let them share themselves. and you know.
It is always a delight having you
on
on
the
the
show.
sit down because we always have a thing or two to learn. Okay, guys, this is the much we can take on this segment. Do not go anywhere. When we come back, it would be the lifestyle segment. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Vibe Cafe Show, the show where we give you nothing but good vibes. And that particular conversation was quite insightful and enlightening. What did you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I thought it was educative and very insightful too. So.
Very indeed. And on that note, we're going to go to our lifestyle segment. And today on lifestyle, we'll be talking about cinema culture. How has it evolved? How has it changed? What's the cinema culture right now? What do you think the cinema culture is right now?
Okay, I think we are at a place where people now see a lot of movies, and then especially Nollywood movies. So I saw an article that was written by, I think, a particular film distribution company, and it was said that there are over 60 movies that have been released, 60 Nollywood movies released this year alone. And it got me really excited. I mean, we're going somewhere. Gone are the days where we just go to cinemas to see movies, foreign movies. Now we can go to see Nollywood movies. I know that we still have some very bad movies. Yes, some movies that shouldn't have been made, scripts that shouldn't have been written. But now we also have movies that we see and we are appreciative of the Nollywood industry. So it has evolved.
It's a good thing because people find other ways to engage themselves. Young people, go and see movies, and it's also creating jobs for a lot of people. So
Yes,
I like the cinema culture. I like the fact that we have a cinema culture now, and it's a good way to interact, meet people, learn about other cultures, because when you watch people's movies about the perspective of the stories they're telling, it gives you an idea of, oh, okay, you know about Germany or this or that culture. So it's interesting that people are now more involved in going to the cinemas.
Oh, yes, it is very interesting. Okay, and on to the next segment, which is the vibe segment. We decided that today we'll just do a very simple vibe, which is feed your focus, starve your distraction. As simple as it sounds, the more you read it, the more you understand it. So every time you read it, it brings a different understanding to that line. So
it's just like, this is what you want to do. Focus on it. There'll be so many distractions. And if you really want to go there, you have to ignore those distractions.
All right. Okay, guys, this is the much we can take on today's episode of Vibe Cafe Show. Now, do not also forget that you can be a part of the conversation by following us, liking us, commenting. Anything you want to see, we are here to serve you. Do let us know via our social media page at Vibe Cafe Show. My name is Rachel M.M. Isaac. I am your girl, Ray Ray.
And I am your guy, Eric Nwanso. And from me and Rachel,
say
peace.
goodbye.